Meet Acun Ilıcalı. He's been called the Turkish Simon Cowell. He started off as a trainee football reporter earning £10 a week and has gone on to become a millionaire, owning a TV station in Turkey which produces shows like The Voice and Dancing with the Stars. He's a huge celebrity in his homeland with over 14 million followers on Instagram, and he's often hanging out with famous faces. However, you'll better know him as the owner of Hull City. He bought Hull at the start of 2022. Fans were excited about the club going in a new direction after a few years of struggle, which saw them get relegated to League One. And it looked like they were going in the right direction. Hull were being ambitious. They were signing some big name players, and they would only just miss out on the playoffs last season. They would end up finishing 7th, which was their highest league finish since 2017. But Hull fans were feeling optimistic about what the future held. However, they've had a disastrous few months, from the dubious sacking of Liam Rosenior to the departure of Ilıcalı's closest ally and a confusing summer transfer window. So what's happening, and can they salvage what they once had? Let's find out. I'm Ryan Dilks from the second tier, and this is Hull City's disastrous 6 months. Firstly though, a quick history lesson. Hull's start to life under Acun Ilıcalı was a slow one. When he came in halfway through the 21-22 season, they were in a relegation battle and managed to eventually stay up. In Hull's first full transfer window under Ilıcalı, there was a heavy emphasis on signing players from abroad, particularly Turkey, Ilıcalı's home nation. They had a slow start to the 22-23 season though, and didn't properly get going until the appointment of Liam Rosenior. Hull were 21st when Rosenior came in, but if the season started from the point where he was appointed, they would have actually finished 10th. He gradually oversaw a huge upturn in Hull's fortunes. That meant Hull fans were optimistic heading into the 23-24 season. It seemed like they had the right man leading the project, and they had an owner who was willing to back him to get success. In the summer of 2023, Hull spent £5 million on Jadon Philogene. They also got in the likes of Tyler Morton and Liam Delap on loan. Hull started the season brilliantly as well, spending many of the first few weeks of the season in the playoff places, and by the end of 2023 would find themselves sat 6th. Hull were in a great position and looking at their best chance of promotion to the Premier League in quite some time. So with that being said, they wanted to capitalise on it. Boy, did they try to. They brought in the likes of Fabio Carvalho and Anas Sarori on loan, as well as spending around £4 million on Abdulkadir Ömer, who was playing regularly in midfield at Trabzonspor in Turkey, and goalkeeper Ivor Panda from Fortuna Sittard. Despite the new additions though, Hull missed out on the playoffs, finishing 7th. So it wasn't to be for Hull, but let's look on the bright side. They were clearly making progress. They had just had 2 bottom half finishes and flirted with relegation in the 2 seasons prior to this, having only just got promoted from the Championship, and they were clearly going in the right direction. And with a few more additions, with Liam Rosenior at the helm, anything is And this, ladies and gentlemen, this is where we find the start of the disastrous 6 months. Yep, Liam Rosenior was sacked for not getting Hull in the playoffs. In a statement, Acun Ilıcalı said, "It's become evident that our visions for the future are not aligned, and I feel that now is the time to make a change. I know what this club can achieve, and we will not stop in the pursuit of that. We now have many highly talented players at our disposal, and we will continue to invest and improve our playing personnel to give this club and its fans the success they deserve." So a bold call to get rid of a promising young manager like Rosenior, who had taken the club from championship strugglers to playoff chasing side. Yeah, sure, Rosenior was given a fair bit of backing last season, but he had taken Hull such a long way from where they were before. So whichever way you look at it, seems very harsh. So a strange move, but okay, if Ilıcalı is going to do that, then let's at least see who they get in. They didn't think Rosenior could make them take that next step further. Let's see who they believe can. Tim Walter was named as the new manager. He had previously had 2.5 seasons at Hamburg in the German second tier. Acun Ilıcalı said Tim was always our first choice. We had many strong applicants and wanted to be thorough in our recruitment process, but it quickly became clear that Tim was the outstanding candidate. Now, this seemed like a strange move at the time, and spoiler alert, still seems like a strange move now, because Hamburg, like Hull, were a club wanting to make that step up. That step being promotion from the German second tier. And despite Hamburg being arguably the biggest club at that level, getting 50,000 fans week in, week out, and also having the biggest budget, Volta failed to get them promoted in 3 seasons. Team Volta was known, however, for playing heart attack football. His teams were known for being very attacking and taking a lot of risks. So just a quick peek into the future. How's heart attack football going? So Hull got their new man in, the one they thought was going to take them to the next level. But what did he have to work with? Hull have shown a lot of ambition in the past, so surely it would have been the same this season, right? Oh, 1 second. I won't be long. Hello? Oh. Oh. Okay. But why? How many players did they sign before the start of August? 4? Just 4? Oh, okay. No, I mean, they had a pretty good squad last season, didn't they? I mean, they finished 7th, for crying out loud. So, how many players left? It can't have been that many, surely. 17? 17 players left before the start of August. Yep, 17 players left Hull before the start of August, with a further 2 leaving before the end of the transfer window. And by the way, that's not including players who were on loan at the club at the end of last season, which Hull had a fair few of. Amongst those to leave were top scorer Jayden Philogene, second top scorer Ozan Tufan, and EFL Team of the Season inclusion Jacob Greaves. In total, 11 of the 14 players who played the most minutes for Hull last season had all left the club by the end of the summer transfer window. It meant Hull started the first game of the season with just 14 senior outfielders. So it left Hull scrambling around to try to sign new players before the window closed. They would end up signing 13 in August alone, with a further 2 coming in after the window closed on free transfers. This video is brought to you by our good friends at SBK. If you haven't heard of them yet, then where have you been? SBK's comprehensive range of markets and exclusive offers makes it the best place to bet on the championship this season. Whether you're creating an accumulator or customizing your bet builder, SBK has got you covered. Don't believe us? Sign up today and find out. In fairness to Hull though, a lot of these new signings were exciting. There was more of an emphasis on young players. It includes Charlie Hughes, who cost £4 million from Wigan. The 21-year-old is very highly rated and has been talked about as a potential England centre-back of the future. Carl Rushworth is one of the most highly thought of young goalkeepers in the country, and Ipswich wanted to sign him in the Premier League. Oscar Zambrano is a very highly rated young Colombian midfielder who Luton wanted to sign when they were in the Premier League. Liam Miller had an eye-catching loan spell at Preston the season before. Mohamed Baloumi is an Algerian winger who cost £4.5 million and was Hull's best player in the first 2 months of the season. And Abu Kamara was a standout player in Portsmouth's promotion from League One, and Hull beat off a lot of competition to get him. All in all, Hull spent north of £24 million on new talent in the summer transfer window. So even though there was a massive squad turnover, Hull had somehow managed to cobble together a decent squad. Yeah, they were missing a competent striker, but once everyone had settled, there was a lot to work with this squad once everyone had gelled together. So maybe Hull could possibly... Oh. Well, that's not ideal, but still there's a lot... Ah. Okay, fine, but as long as... What is happening? So yeah, 2 of Hull's new signings, who cost a combined £7 million, both suffered season-ending injuries in the space of a fortnight, and then their new midfielder could face a 2-year ban for allegedly failing a drugs test. You add in Carl Rushworth not being available yet because of injury, and then the likes of Abu Kamara struggling for fitness as well. Not much of their new talent they brought in is actually available, and it certainly hasn't helped matters on the pitch. Hull have won just 3 of their first 16 games of the season, but at least Hull fans will be getting entertained, right? You know, heart attack football and all that. Excuse me 1 second. Hello. Oh, they've only scored 16 from their first 16 games of the season. Huh. But I thought they played heart attack football now. You know, all guns blazing, loads of risks and all that. No? 4th lowest scorers in the league? Huh. Huh. Well, that's a shame, isn't it? Not exactly what they were promised, though, was it? No. Huh. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I love you too. Bye. Yes, despite the promises of heart-attack football, Hull fans have been treated to anything but so far. Tim Walter had tried to play that way initially, but it left Hull very exposed, particularly with a whole new set of players who had barely played with each other before. What we've had since is a lot more of a pragmatic approach, but as I say, 3 wins from 16. It's not going brilliantly. And Hull fans have not been pleased with what they've been seeing. They've also not been pleased with what Tim Walter's been saying. A few weeks ago, he criticised Hull fans for not being vocal enough. In the following game, they lost 1-0 to Oxford United. And Hull fans responded by singing, "Are we loud enough for you? Tim Walter, your football is shit, and Walter Ball is fucking shit." Then in Hull's recent away loss at Luton, Tim Walter didn't go over to clap the travelling away support. The reason why? He said it's because he was wet. Ironically, a bit of a wet excuse that, isn't it? So it's not been going well at all on the pitch. Behind the scenes, there's been a lot of concern as well. In October, Hull vice-chairman Tan Kesler unexpectedly left the club. He was seen as Ilıcalı's right-hand man and heavily involved in the day-to-day running of the club while Ilıcalı was in Turkey. Kesler's background meant he had a big say in Hull's transfer business, and it was a big shock when his departure was announced. It's unclear why it happened, but it left Hull fans very concerned. So Hull have seemingly got problems on and off the pitch, and there's growing concern within the fan base about how things are going, and if they're not careful, they could sleepwalk into relegation. It's a complete far cry to the position the club were in just over 6 months ago. Hull were dreaming of promotion to the Premier League, or at least building on the progress that they have made so far, but everything that could have gone wrong since then has. The sacking of Liam Rosenior in particular looks like an even more bizarre decision as time has gone on. If you're going to instigate such a massive squad turnover, surely you would at least make sure the one constant is the manager. But no, instead they got in Tim Walter, who's proven to be an inferior manager. In fairness to him, he has been dealt a tough hand with the high squad turnover and the subsequent availability of many of those new players. At the same time though, he hasn't helped himself with the criticism of Hull supporters. It seems unlikely that Walter will be in the Hull job for much longer, but even if he does go, can we guarantee that they will improve? The departure of Tan Kesler means Hull are trying to sort themselves out behind the scenes as well. He had a big influence on the club and would have had a big part to play in them rising up the table. Don't get me wrong, he would have also played a big part in their current situation, but it means Hull are trying to get a new set of eyes in to get them out of this mess. My personal opinion is that there'll be at least 3 worse teams than Hull City this season, so I'd be surprised if they actually went down. But I have said that before about other teams, and considering how disastrous a 6 months it has been, this can be a very difficult thing for a club to recover from. So this has been Hull City's disastrous 6 months. Do you think they'll be fine this season? Should they have just kept Liam Rosenior? Let me know in the comments section below. If you've enjoyed the video, make sure you like and subscribe for more content like this. I've been Dilks from the Second Tier, and we'll be back again very soon.